So I have a question. Why I still need goals in retirement? Now, in this video, I'll explain why retirement is not the end of having goals. It is the beginning of setting some goals. It brings purpose and enjoyment and fulfillment. So we're going to talk about a few of the areas of why goals, I have found goals. I think even not just me, because I'm goal orientated, but even people who just want to have that relaxing life, I think still need some form of goals. So we'll talk about it. Say hello to everybody. Say hello. I went to try and zoom. I went to try and film earlier, and this one decides to do zoomies all over the place. And he was just laying down to sleep, and because I've closed my door, so I don't interrupt me. I don't interrupt him. I think he thought that somebody was here. Didn't you? You're still tired. Why don't you go back to bed? Look. You are a handful, aren't you? I'll just go put him to bed. Come on. Because I was talking, he thought I was talking to somebody. So he's thinking, oh, somebody's here. Because my parents come through the back door and he often thinks, oh, they're coming to visit. So, as I said, welcome back to the channel. So, when you retire, do your goals disappear? Now, you're working 9 to 5 or you're doing whatever you're doing, whether you're a house person or a work person, you still have those goals. But no, they don't disappear. They just change. So instead of being, oh, I've got to go to work, I've got to earn some money, I've got to do everything within a certain amount of time, your goals change. So life's different, so your goals are going to be different. So after retiring many years as a baker, pastry chef and cake decorator, I had long hours, I had employees, I had customers, I had suppliers. I was pre-planning for the year, so all the events that you have like Christmas and Easter. In Australia we have, the football and all that sort of stuff. I was organising and I was juggling a lot of different roles and different situations, different events that were on. So with me, when that all stopped, of course, my day is not taken up by organising other people, by organising other things. It's now taken up with, I've got 24 hours in a day. I've still got the same 24 hours, but what am I going to do with it? Now, when we first sold the shop, we sold just about everything we owned and moved into we were already living in a caravan, but we literally sold all the stuff that was at the shop or gave it away. We gave like tens of thousands of dollars worth of stuff away because we had nowhere to store anything. And I said, right, that's it. I'm not going to get back into cake decorating. I'm not going to do it. It's been my life for so many years. I am going to be free from this, and I'm going to, not that I didn't enjoy it, which I did. It's just, I was time to move on, right? I'm going to have less stuff, be relaxed. Don't look in the background when I say less stuff. Be relaxed, travel around Australia and just enjoy life, meeting people and that. Now, our whole aim of going around Australia was also because we were a small business, we wanted to support other small businesses. So go into their business and help them out, mainly in hospitality. So we were like wanting to do it for free. So offer our services, help them for free, whether it's designing something or changing something or helping them clean up or whatever. That's what we wanted to do. So that's why our channel actually was not just traveling, it was also supporting the communities that we were traveling through. Now, I'll speak more about that another time. What I expected retirement to feel like, I've already said, like the travel, the no stress and the freedom. But simply relaxing every day didn't satisfy me. It didn't give me the fulfillment. It was coming to, I wouldn't say it's my end of my life, but you're in the later parts of your years and I didn't want to waste it. I felt I've only got a certain amount of time, and time's more precious now to me than what it was when I was in my 20s, thinking I've got, decades and decades to go. So I didn't want to waste it. I was feeling bored. I had lack of satisfaction and purpose. I didn't have any creativity because I didn't really have much room to have that. I had, as I said, my journaling and writing, and that's basically, my knitting. And that was basically about all I could do. You can only fit a certain amount in a caravan. And helping out people, the helping out that we wanted to do didn't turn out like we expected. So because we're passing through places, people didn't get up to know us enough to build up that rapport so we could help them. They didn't know who we were, right? Only the locals knew who we were, and a few people from further away that wanted to deal with us. So we didn't have that rapport to come in to say, hey, do you want us to help you out with this? So it was harder. If we had been in the one spot for 6 months or something, it would have been easier to take on some unpaid work, which is what we wanted to do. So the support part didn't really work. And even when we came back to our home spot, well, our base camp in Melbourne, even the locals that we knew, we still couldn't do that. It's still, I don't know if it's this thing about people with small businesses think, what's the catch? We were offering our services for free. We wanted to help out for free because we know, being a small business, how expensive it is to employ people to do things, and you just don't have enough time. We did help out, a couple of people I've helped out, but I couldn't film anything because that was part of the only part of the deal was that we wanted to film some things. So the people I did help out was more financial, with auditing their books or helping them out with some sort of form in their payment system. And I wouldn't record that because it's very personal and it's very confidential. So I wasn't going to record any of that sort of stuff. So let's talk about the structure. Works provided this structure for us. It was get up a certain time. It was get to the shop a certain time. It was do certain things because you had orders to fill. You had customers to satisfy. You had suppliers to talk to. You had all this stuff that had to be done in a certain amount of time. And if you didn't do it, your business failed. So you had that structure. And then by the time that your day was finished, you were so exhausted that you just went to bed. I could actually fall to sleep within 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Gil used to come in because I got up a lot earlier than he did. Gil would come in to say, I'll be back in 10 minutes to say goodnight to you, and I'd be out like a light. Because I was getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to make sure that someone was at the shop turning the ovens on and that, where he was getting up later, but he was staying later too. I left earlier. So the difference between this structure that we had and traveling around Australia with Gil, I discovered that retirement just wasn't what I imagined. So everything from waking up to cramming in all the tasks that I needed to relaxing, sleeping, had now been disrupted. I had this routine for so many years. It was a habit. It was a habit for me to get up. If I couldn't sleep during the night, I would get up earlier and go into the shop earlier. So it was easy because my mind at night time was so tired, it turned off. And now when I wake up in the morning, if I woke up too early, say I woke up at 12 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock, and I think, instead of laying in bed, I'll just get up and go to work, and start the ovens earlier or start getting stuff ready earlier. So that helped. But also, we were in a 300 square meter building, right? That was our shop. It was a huge shop with only about 65 square meters was the shop. All the rest of it was production. So we worked, like we had the working areas and everything like that. We had the office and bathrooms and stuff in there. We also were in a 3-bedroom house, right? And we had 2 cars. Now we've gone from all this to a caravan, 1 car, to places we just don't know. Like Gil would know where we're going to go, or we're heading that direction. We're heading north. We're heading north. This is the first town, and we could go in this direction, and then someone would say, oh, what about going here? And we'd go off here. That was a good flexibility about it. You weren't on a 9 to 5, but we were in different places. We couldn't buy anything. Like, you couldn't buy any nicks and knacks. I couldn't buy any crafts. I couldn't buy much at all because you're limited to your space and you're limited to your weight. And I was limited to my craft experience. Also, that interaction with other people. We would interact with people, but then not see them anymore. So it was a passing by. That's the dog just running in thinking I'm talking to someone again. So all this made me realize that everything that was challenging for me, my mind was constantly on with our shop. Mostly the organising and everything was done up to me. So thinking about a lot of things, I did a lot of the mental part of it and became mental. I realised that going from that to nothing, to not organising where we're going, not organising really anything except for what we're going to eat, which I did anyway, organise what we were going to eat beforehand, that I needed new challenge after settling into caravan life. Again, I got bored. It's not what I thought it was going to be. It's not what I had planned it to be. I had health issues. I've had health issues all my life, but I had done a herniated disc, so it hurt myself so bad that my mobility was even more limited. Now, I had ended up in a wheelchair when we were in the shop. So I was in a motorised wheelchair. I've been walking on a walking stick and that, because sometimes my health got so bad. Now, I was hoping that this trip away was going to be, or this travelling was going to be, we're gone forever, no end date. That was the plan. There was no end date. And that we would walk around towns and hike and everything like that. Well, sometimes I could barely get up and down the stairs of the caravan without Gil helping me get up and down the stairs, or get in and out of the car, or even walking from the car spot into a shop was really effort for me. The best I was is if we got into a shopping centre or something and there was a trolley that I could lean on, I could actually move around more. But as far as walking on my own, I just couldn't handle it. And I waited a lot for Gil to come back from things. So he would go, oh, I just want to walk down to a waterfall and have a look. Now, knowing I can't go there, I would sit in the car, half an hour, and wait for him to come back. And I just knit. I had my knitting with me all the time, and we didn't have the dog then when we first left. And then it would be, he wants to do a day trip where he goes to all these places. And in the end, I just said, look, you might as well just go without me, because I can do more stuff in the recliners. We have recliners in the caravan. In the caravan, just sitting and relaxing, putting my feet up, doing what I want to do, without having to go out. There was times where I didn't even go out of the caravan, right? Because it was just easier for me to stay in the caravan. So my mobility, hang on. Come on, Bubba. You're meant to be in bed. Okay. So my mobility and my desire to even move more than 20 steps in a day sort of thing had just diminished, and my health was getting worse. So goals don't have to be massive. They just have to be satisfactory. And that was, thank you. That's what it was like for me. I needed some goals that were satisfactory. The retirement goals don't have to be about earning money. So when you're working younger, I'd say younger as in your earlier days, you're working because you need the money. You need the money to pay the bills and the rent and all this sort of stuff. Now, not that those things don't exist when you're older. It's just you normally know what you got in reserve that you can spend. So you're a bit more mindful, I think. You learn the process of money's now not going to flow in like it did. I can just go and work somewhere. I'll put you down. Hey, come on. So money's now not just going to flow in like it did before. You're limited. Your money's capped at what it is, whether it's earning interest or whether it's just living off a certain amount each week. Now, both Gil and I are retired early, so we don't get an old age pension as such. So we're sort of got to live off what we've got. Now, although that's the case, as I said, you don't need to be earning money. But I found that the first goal I made, which was after this trip, we spent 6 months away and I was just in too much pain. So we come back for my health, basically. And then Gil went away. So while he was away, I thought this is a great time for me to mentally think about finding myself. And that's when I first started the channel, Finding the Joy in Myself. Now, this is now called Creatively Retired. It's the same channel, so it's the earlier videos. So I started this basically to talk out loud about what things I needed to think about or feel or discuss. And I didn't have anyone to talk about it that I didn't feel that would be objective. More, I thought I'd get more criticism about it. So I figured I'll just do it in front of the video. And I'm sure there's many people out there in the same boat as me. So I worked through like, who am I and what do I want? Not what do I want with Gil. It's what I want. What questions do I ask myself? I ask myself like I liked doing certain things when I was younger and I haven't done them in a real while. Do I still want to do those sort of things and that? So I had massive lists of different things that maybe I did when I was younger, when I felt happier, when I felt more content, and that were things that I thought when we had the shop, what I missed out on, and that. And then I thought to myself, right, okay, do I really want to do this? I can do this. Do I want to? Do I want to still, rollerblade or do something like that? Which the answer's no to that. But, that's the sort of things I was working through. So the goals I was thinking about and the questions I was asking myself was more about me goals. What do I want? Not what do I want as a couple? What does my family want? What do my kids want? What does anybody else want? What do I want? Right? So this is more self-centered, I don't want to say selfish because it's not selfish to care for yourself. But these are more about me. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks or what anybody else wants. This is what I want. So what I really missed is the creative goals that would excite me. I really missed creating things like drawing or painting or making something with my hands. And I did a lot of that when I was like doing cake decorating. That I'd make a lot of flower decorations. The little pitter-patter's him running in and out. Like you should have heard him before. He was doing zoomies all over the place. But so I missed that sort of stuff. So what I thought, I had been collecting for, I think nearly 2 years. Like being retired, I forget times these days of what, I think it's been a couple of years now. And I started collecting a lot of craft stuff. I would go to recycle places. If I saw something, I would buy it. We went to a lot of op shops, marketplace, all this sort of stuff. So we got a lot of stuff and I was just sort of hoarding it in my drawers. Not hoarding it, but hoarding it because I wanted to use it down the track. Some things I didn't know what I was going to use it for. Other things I just went, oh, I've got to have this. I want to start doing miniatures. I want to start doing clay work. I want to start doing this. I want to, like 101 different things that I wanted to do. Now, when I looked at what I had, and some things I had a lot of the one thing. Do you mind? That's my toe. He's biting my toe through my slipper. So I had more than the one thing. Right, so I started collecting a lot of stuff. And my idea was that I wanted to start making, doing some sewing, making some bags, doing bits. There was bits of crafts, all different things. I think I mentioned it in another video of a lot of things that I wanted to do. But there was a catch. I didn't want to keep all this stuff. I like making stuff, but I don't like keeping it. And then, so then you've got to go, well, what am I going to do with it? Like, I can't give it all away. Well, I can, but then it's expensive to give it all away if you're buying all the stuff and that. So what I decided was that to start up Little Aussie Joys from scratch. Now, if you're not interested in business, that's fine. But this is just an idea of what goal that I created. So it was something that to start up a business from scratch, it's not easy. It's very challenging. And I've done it before. I've done it before several times. I got the satisfaction that I could do it. And I wondered whether I still could do it because it had been like nearly 12 years since we started our previous business. And that was from scratch, but we converted a building into, it was a restaurant. We converted into the patisserie and that, but we started it from scratch. And I had been getting in clients prior to us walking into the building. So we weren't walking in completely unknown, but we walked in like naive about commercial. I could do home, but I hadn't done commercial before. Anyhow, we made it work and we made it successful. So I wondered whether I could still do it now. And I did. I started up the business. The website's up and running. I have pride in achieving this large goal. I mean, I suppose the goal is also now I've got to do marketing and draw people to the website and all this sort of stuff. But I'm having fun doing it. And some of the stuff that I had accumulated over the years, I can now pass on through that business, and some stuff's vintage and that. Well, actually a lot of stuff I've got is like vintage. So that's good. I love using my hands and I love using my mind. I find it hard to relax without using my hands. I can't sit down and I'm using them while I'm talking to. I can't sit down in a chair and watch a TV or that without having something there. I'm always going, oh, what can I do? Oh, can I knit? Can I cut out something? Can I do something? The old chairs I used to have were leather and they were really, really wide. And my dog that's passed years ago, he used to sleep on one side of me and then I'd have a big tray over my lap and then I'd be doing stuff on the tray. And that, where this one tends to want to sit right in between me and the chairs are smaller. So it makes it harder to do some things, but I work it out. And unless I'm sick, I won't do anything if I'm sick. I just want to veg out. So I also love organising, designing and creating. I think organising is a hobby for me too. So when we have an op shop haul or we get stuff given to us at times and that, I love going through it and I love organising it. So I'm going to put that down that is a hobby for me as well. And which is what I wanted to do, helping out small businesses, and that part of it would be organising. I'm yapping on now. Okay, let me explain. Having something to look forward to each day. I started by, when we retired, we were sleeping in. We just felt tired all the time. Both of us were in the same boat. We were sleeping in until, we're going from 3 o'clock in the morning. Gil, I think, used to get up at 7. I'd get up at 3. To us sleeping in until 9, 10, half the day was gone. Like, we had no goals, we had no purpose, and really no reason to get out of bed. And there was no inspiration there. There was nothing that sort of inspired us. So having goals sort of sparked a little thing in my head, and I think Gil's getting it must be catchy because Gil is getting it as well. Because sometimes in the morning I'll say, "How'd you sleep?" and he goes, "Oh, I was up until 3 o'clock in the morning." I went, "Oh yeah, I was up until 4 o'clock in the morning," and that, because our mind's still quite active and we're thinking, "Oh, we can do this and we can do this," and we're so. It keeps us more, I think, younger and more alive when we've got some sort of goal that we want to do. But we've got big goals and we've got small goals. So if you've picked a goal that is big, let's say that you've got a big goal, the goal of wanting to travel. So break that goal down into smaller steps. Like when we had our goal that we wanted to travel, we had that a few years before we actually left. So we did research on, because we wanted to go in a caravan. Now, that is a nightmare, because we're looking at a particular car and we're looking at a particular caravan, but the car company couldn't tell us whether it could tow the caravan and the caravan weight, and the caravan company couldn't tell us whether the car could be towed by that caravan. And then we got on to asked an assessor who would assess this thing, and they couldn't tell us. So there's not a lot of information out there, and it was juggling between when we signed the contract, it was like when we bought the caravan, it's only under the condition, so it was under the condition that our car would tow the caravan, because we couldn't find these things out. Anyway, so we decided that we were going to go around Australia. Oh, actually, we were just going to go full time. We weren't even going to come back. There was no end date. So that our goal was to get a car, get a caravan, fit it out, sell the shop. All these goals that we needed to do, we needed to reduce our stuff that we had, because we had to fit everything into the caravan. We did live in the caravan, I think it was 2 years or something, before we actually headed off. So we got used to the caravan. The caravan was quite like home before we left. It was quite easy. We then had to obviously work out which way we were going to go, what our budget was going to be. And I'll tell you what, when I did the budget on the caravan travel, I did the worst case scenario. I said, if we went and stayed at every big 4 caravan park every single night, this is what our caravan fees would be. And I did the worst case scenario and come up with quite a large figure, and then I slashed it in half. Now, we didn't even use, I don't even think we even used a quarter of what I budgeted, because I budgeted for worst case scenario that the car breaks down or the caravan needs replacing or stuff like that as well. So it was a good thing to do. So just break things down into smaller steps. If you're wanting to redo your garden, break it down into, get a plan, a sketch of your property, and draw on it what you want to do. Use a transfer paper or baking paper over the top of your thing so you can adjust things around, or cut out little shapes so you can move them around your property. There's a lot of things that you can do. Just having these broken down is not going to get you where you want to go. It's not going to get you these big things done. So you need to plan or schedule your week to stay motivated. So I tried doing everything at once. I tried going, okay, this is a massive list I want to do. And those who've seen the book already, I have got literally a book of, it's a little exercise book of stuff that the Future Joy does or wants to do. And if I don't look at that each week and go, right, what out of here do I want to do? And that besides the domestic things, besides what other things I want to do, then nothing is going to get done. What I did try and do was did everything. I tried to have my weeks filled with every single thing I wanted to do every day. Like, oh, I want to, like, I've got to edit videos. Well, if I edit, a bit of a video every day, then, or I'll just do it whenever. It didn't work. I can't stop the sun. I noticed the reflection starting to reflect off my glasses, so my apologies for that. I can't stop it from the light from coming in. So let's talk about planning your weekly schedules to stay motivated. Now, I'm not talking about plan something 9 to 5, everything that you do each day. I'm talking about, I have tried to do everything and it didn't work. I've gone, here's a massive list of 200 things I want to do and I'll just get it done. You find you don't do anything unless you start to work on stuff, as in schedule stuff. So I found, for me, it was better for me to set days or plan to do certain things on those days. So I have Mondays is normally I do editing of videos. I like to, because our travel video goes up on a Friday night, I like to know that it's done well in advance. Gil can do his bit of social media on it, you know, all this sort of stuff. There's that leeway of, if I don't feel well on a Monday, I can do it on a Tuesday. If the video takes me longer to edit, if something comes up, it's given me plenty of time. I mean, ideally it would be better if I could do it like a month in advance. So that would be even better. But I do set a Monday to do videos. Now, after saying that, today is Monday and I'm recording this video because this video I didn't get done last week. The reason being, last week I didn't get a video up was because Gil was going away, and between him and the dog and everything, there was just no appropriate time for me to record. And the dog sometimes goes really crazy and barks and that, which we've got to get a trainer to work that one out. So to me, it was better off to set days or plan to do certain things on those days. As I said, Monday doing this. Weekends, I like to have nothing. So I don't want to have any work-related things done on a weekend. I prefer that to be my time to play with things I want to play with, craft stuff or that, or reset my... Sunday, I love to reset my week, like clean up and tidy things and make sure I'm ready for the new week. Because again, if I've had that weekend to play and to do things I like to do, then I don't feel as bad on a Monday when I've actually got to edit a video. So then, as I said, you break your large goals into smaller ones. So what I encourage you to do is choose one meaningful goal, right? I've got two at the moment. So my goal, one of my goals is improving my health and losing weight. My body is not holding my weight. And the reason for my weight, well, eating the wrong things, but is lack of movement at times. And there's been like, I had 18 months to nearly 2 years where my mobility was very limited, and it still at times is. So for me to do exercise as such, even in a swimming pool, it puts pressure on. It's not getting in the water, it's getting out of the water. So I'm sort of limited to what I can do. I bought a walking mat to walk on, but find that I can't wear shoes. I wear thongs, as in Archies, and I can't wear shoes or anything that holds around it. So for me to wear runners, my feet start swelling and that, because it holds my foot and my back in a certain spot. So to walk on a walking mat, I found it a bit hard, and that, so I've got to sort of try and work around this. But anyway, that's another thing. So one of my goals is to improve my health and lose weight. The other one is of creating an income that helps my family while I'm enjoying retirement. I still want to earn an income, as in me earn an income. I say this, but I mean my husband and I earn an income. We still want to earn an income, even if it's a small income, that we would like to do it. And it keeps me engaged with other people. Otherwise, I would hibernate. I would hibernate at home. I would stay here and I wouldn't talk to anyone except for my husband and my parents, sort of thing. I'm an introvert, so it's sort of, you know, a way of me of sort of getting out and, oh, excuse me, I didn't have much sleep last night, and I'm talking to people. So in any case, I've got two goals. You can just pick one, and whether it's trying something new, or baking, or creating, or seeing something, or going somewhere, or if you have got health issues, whether it's just being able to sit down and up without having to support yourself, even the small stuff. But you know, the goals can be, I mean, they could be massive and it'd be, you know, hiking the highest mountain sort of thing. So like you really think about this. Think about the fact that I personally feel that you need goals in retirement. They don't have to be big ones. They can be small ones. And I feel that you need goals that are related just to you. Not, as a woman, we tend to give ourselves most of our life. We give ourselves as to our kids, to our husband, to all this sort of stuff. And we forget to look after ourselves. So I think it's very important for us as women to have self goals. And men too should have goals for themselves as well. But I think most of them seem to be more easy to detach themselves from the home situation and have goals from the self. I mean, there might be reverse roles around. There definitely is reverse roles around. But I'd like to know what goals you're currently working on. Is anyone working on any goals at the moment? Are they big goals? Are they small goals? Is anyone going to travel? Anyone into crafting? One of my other goals is because I love crafting and that, and this is a retired channel, I think I might end up, not right now, is in doing 2 videos. One for the retirement part of it, where we talk about retirement things and general doing things around the place in general, where the other one more craft orientated. So there's 2 completely videos, and I can try and separate them a little bit if my mind will be able to do that. So meanwhile, on saying that, I hope this video was insightful. Stay safe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.